meetups. We have a great hour in store for you. I'm Amanda Puck, and I work for Mariano's, and I have Sarah Lutz here with me as well, who's going to help co-pilot and moderate tonight. During this crucial time of social distancing and sheltering in place, we decided to launch this online platform where we all can get together for cooking tips, wine tastings, mixology lessons, kids concerts, and Chicago lifestyle music and more. If you shop with us at Mariano's, you know that we're about the experience, and we wanted to bring it all here to you on Zoom. So we're excited to have you here tonight. We have awesome guests. We're so thrilled. We have one of our favorite chefs, and he's one of our Tastemaker chefs. His name is Tony Priolo, and he's the chef and owner of Piccolo Sonio, Nonina, and also My Art Tavern. So Tony makes incredible pasta, but he also makes awesome burgers. So we're really excited to have him here tonight. He's going to show us how to make arancini. So maybe next time you can help us make burgers. We'll see how that goes. And we also have TJ Brickley from E&J Gallo Wines, who's paired the arancini with the J Pinot Noir, and he's going to go over those tasting points. But they're both in the stores with us all the time when we can be, and now we're all here online. So thanks everyone for joining us. A few reminders, you must be 21 and over. There's a chat function in the middle of your computer screen. It looks like it's under my big finger there. It's a chat, so please feel free to jump in, ask us questions, make comments. But please remember to be positive. This is a positive place to be. We're happy to be here with you virtually, and anyone who's not nice is going to be made to leave. So we just want to make sure we're all behaving. Also on the lower left corner of your screen, there's a video button, and you can turn the video off if you don't want to be recorded, because we are going to record tonight so all of our customers can enjoy this presentation by Tony and TJ later on. Before we get started, I like to give my favorite pantry item pick during this time that we've been cooking more at home. And Tony and I did collaborate on this, but if you haven't tried these spicy Calabrian peppers yet, you need to try them because they're good for so many things. Tony, what's your favorite way to use these?
Maybe chop them up, put them in a pasta, put them on salad,
yes.
Put them on anything.
I even like to use the oil. I actually save it all the time so I can like cook with it or like marinate something in it, but this is one of my favorite items. So I made, I actually learned about that item from Tony. So I made myself a little snack plate with some of the peppers, olives, Parmesan Reggiano cheese, and some crackers. But my other favorite condiment, I have to give a shout out to Piccolo Sonio. I have the olive oil and the balsamic. So Tony, where is this balsamic from exactly?
It's from Modena. That's a 20-year aged balsamic. And this is the one that you guys sell at Mariano's, and I buy it from you guys there. Same thing, just a different bottle.
Well, we love it. It's our favorite, so thank you. So by now, hopefully you have some water or some wine, because TJ is actually going to kick it off, and TJ is going to take us through the J Pinot Noir and why it's going to pair so well with Tony's dish. Did we lose TJ?
I think he's muted.
Oh. Sorry,
Hello.
everyone. Still new at this. Technical difficulty.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Take two. I was going to say that was the perfect segue. Your pantry picks are the perfect segue into what it is we're doing here today, because J Pinot Noir is actually a wine that pairs so well with so many different foods, including the charcuterie that you just had displayed, or the arancini that Tony's going to be making today. So thank you, everybody, for having me back. The wine that we have in front of us today is the J Vineyards Pinot Noir 2016 vintage. It's like I said, it's going to pair very well with today's meal. So hopefully everybody has a glass and is able to sip and enjoy as we go through today's demonstration. For those who don't know, J Vineyards is actually it's a brand that's been around for about 30 years. Judy Jordan started it. Judy is the daughter of a wine pioneer in Alexander Valley in California. He started a brand by the name of Jordan Vineyards. It's kind of an iconic Cabernet that you'll see in a lot of really high-end wine shops and Mariano's and high-end steakhouses and high-end restaurants. It's a great wine. His daughter Judy was inspired by the wines of Burgundy, and she especially loved Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So she started her own winery in the heart of Sonoma County in what's called the Russian River Valley. And the Russian River Valley is perfect for growing Pinot Noir and Chardonnay because of its proximity to the Pacific Ocean. You get really warm days and cool nights, and you get a lot of maritime influence where that fog kind of comes in off the coast and lets the grapes kind of rejuvenate overnight, and then will burn off in the sunlight in the morning. So they get these really hot days where the grapes can develop, and then they can kind of relax at night as they're under that cloak of the fog. So this to me is one of my favorite wines in the world. J Vineyards, if you ever have the opportunity to go out to California and do a little bit of wine visiting or wine tasting, I would highly encourage you to go to J Vineyards. It actually just won the #1 tasting room in California from USA Today. We have a James Beard award-winning chef that's on property. That it's one of the only wineries in California that's grandfathered into being able to have a wine and food pairing on a daily basis, that you can go in and you can relax and you can drink wine and you can have a food pairing that the chef creates for you there. So if you're ever in the area, please stop by. You can just walk in, and it's really a phenomenal place. But today we're going to be bringing the tasting room to you. So this is a 100% Pinot Noir. But what makes it really unique is that it's actually sourced from 3 different vineyards throughout California. So 54% of this is being sourced from Sonoma County at our J Vineyards property. 31% of it is being sourced further south in Monterey, which has higher elevation and is a little bit closer to the ocean. And then the last 15% of this, still Pinot Noir, is sourced from Santa Barbara, even further south. So what's really unique about Pinot Noir and just wine growing in general is that even though you're growing the same grape, the wine tastes different when it's grown in different areas. So Pinot Noir in France or in Burgundy is not going to taste the same as Pinot Noir in Oregon or California. And Pinot Noir grown in Northern California is going to taste different than Pinot Noir grown in Southern California. So when you blend those different areas together, you get a end product that is super unique, super layered and complex. And that's why we decided to blend these kind of untraditionally from 3 different areas throughout California. And you get just a very unique Pinot Noir that I think is the reason why this has resonated with so many consumers. So let's all grab a glass if you have one. I'm gonna put my bottle down, give it a little swirl. I'm gonna cheers everybody. And
hold on, TJ.
you haven't poured a glass yet?
Well, I did, but I want to get a nice one, a newer one.
I do want to pour a glass.
I've had like 4 already, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do
We're
it.
making
It goes down
arancini.
smooth. I hope that you're able to make the arancini at this point, because this wine
I
is
can't get it to connect to
it's
my thing,
lush.
so I can't get
It's great, and it gets better as it opens too.
Totally. It really does. You know, this is a wine that can really pair well with food, but it can also be consumed like on its own, just like super easy, super simple to drink. It's very like bright and vibrant and refreshing. I almost like to throw this in the refrigerator for 30 minutes before I drink it, just to give it a nice little chill. I know it's getting a little bit warmer outside as we social distance and self-isolate. It's nice to kind of open up a bottle of vino and just, have a glass or 2 and just have some time to yourself or with your family. But on this, the nose, I really get really unique characteristics. You get black cherry, you get baking spice, dark fruit, some vanilla.
What's the price point in the store?
$18.99.
Oh, how about that?
Mariano's.
And if you buy 4 bottles or more, you get 15% off, and that's a discount we offer all the time.
It's a to me, this is one of the best values in Pinot Noir and in wine. This actually just received 92-point score from James Suckling because it's just a good value year in and year out. It always overproduces. So on the nose here, black cherry, baking spice, dark fruit, some vanilla. I think that the mouthfeel has a little bit more of that like jammy characteristic, almost like boiled strawberries or like a compote, red fruit, cherry, leather, some of that kind of like old world characteristic as well. And what I think separates this from a lot of other Pinot Noirs is actually its body. It's a bigger body. It's fleshy. It's got more going on, and it really lingers after you take a sip. You can taste it for 30 seconds or a minute, even after you swallow. So to me, this has been a wine that has been a staple in my cellar and has always been a crowd pleaser. And the ultimate reason why we're trying it today is because I think it's going to pair extremely well with Chef Tony's arancini. So if there are any questions about this wine in the chat, feel free to kick it over to Chef. And actually, one more thing. If you want to try this wine, it's also available in 375s, like the little half bottles as well. So if you're just looking for a glass or 2 glasses, you can buy one of those, and it's about half the price as well. So very consistent, but it's a great wine for food pairings or just having on its own. Thank you.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you. And Tony, I think we're ready to see you make some arancini.
All right, great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us during this exciting time in our lives. This is a strange time, and I've never done this before, so this is my first time doing a cooking demo from my house on an iPad that's taped up on a box. And hopefully my little kids that won't be running around trying to play games on the iPad. So if that happens, we'll have to stop them. But I'm excited to be a part of Mariano's Tastemakers with such great chefs like Bill Kim and Todd Stein, former Rodilio, who passed away recently. And there's a lot of great chefs, and Belinda, the wine specialist. But what they're doing is they're giving us money to do this, and we're donating it to our GoFundMe page for our staff. That's the whole reason why we are doing this, and it's kind of a great thing that Mariano's is doing, and it makes me even want to go there even more and spend more money there, because the heart that they give, they don't have to do this. They don't have to do any of that, and I'm so honored to be a part of this. So the people from Mariano's behind you, I love you.
Oh, we love you.
I kind of want to cry because it's a tough time in our lives right now doing this. And, like even trying to get stuff from the grocery store, unless you're going to the grocery store, it's still tough. So, like I made bolognese sauce, but basically it was like a ragu I had in the freezer, and I chopped it up and mixed more tomato in it because I couldn't get a delivery in time. And I didn't want to go to the store right now because I know it's dangerous out there. So hopefully what I'm doing here, you guys can make it home, and feel free to change anything on it. So like traditionally, arancini is a Sicilian dish of a fried rice croquette with saffron. Inside is mozzarella and meat sauce and peas. If you don't have any of that, so what? Just make a rice ball. Put mozzarella inside. Or if you don't eat meat, just put out peas and cheese. It's up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this up. When you make risotto, you always need a couple of dishes. You need a couple of things that's really important. A wooden spoon, because when you're stirring the rice, a metal spoon will crack the kernels, and you don't want to do that. And also a high rondeau or high pan, because when you're doing this, you don't want to spill it over. I always start with it warm. I always want to start with a good olive oil. Let me go over the ingredients really quick. I can kind of tilt this. I have, you probably can't really see it, but I have a carnaroli rice. I'm going to spill some stuff. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, some carnaroli rice. You can't see it, but I'll tell you. Carnaroli rice, some onions, butter, Parmesan cheese, risotto. I have some chicken broth. And then I have some bolognese sauce, peas, and mozzarella that I'm going to add in there. First thing that I want to do is take some olive oil in a warm pan. The pan has already been hot. And I'm going to saute a little bit of onion. I actually like to put a lot of onion because it makes it kind of sweet. You just want to saute this for a couple of minutes, and every time I add something to the dish, I always add a little bit of salt, because salt extracts the flavor. It'll take out some of the liquid out and also give it more of a concentrated flavor. If you don't like salt or you can't eat salt for heart reasons, don't add salt, because at home, you're the chef. So that's going to saute right there. I have carnaroli rice. You can see that. Oh, now it's all over. Carnaroli rice is a shorter grain rice than arborio, and it cooks a little bit in a quicker time, but it's a little bit creamier. So I like to use that rice. And this is aged 1 year. The reason why it's aged is to get some of the liquid out.
Tony, what kind of salt do you use when you're cooking? Do you use kosher salt?
I only use Sicilian salt in the restaurant and at home. What I do is the salt from Sicily. It's in the mines of Sicily, and the reason why I use that because I think that's the only salt in Italy when you use it, and it just gives great flavor for fish or for pasta. I use it at home because it's 100% natural as well, and then I'm also supporting Sicily, which is a small little country.
Right.
We got to consider the Italians consider Sicily on their own, so kind of supporting them. So here, as I'm doing this, trying to see that. I'm just sauteing it. I don't want to brown it. And the reason why I'm stirring it is I don't want the kernels to burn. And kind of have to use a thick pot as well because that will help with the heat to distribute the heat evenly. You don't want any hot. There's a lot of pots that have hot spots. And there's a point when you're stirring the rice, it almost when it's toasting, it's touching each other. It's kind of making a high-pitched scream. And that's the point where you want to deglaze it. And I deglaze it, for this one, I'm going to deglaze it with a little bit of white wine.
So does the rice change color, or is it just getting coated and?
No, so you're toasting it, it's warming up, and then the heat of the kernels of rice are touching each other. It's making a high-pitched noise, and that's when I know that it's time to add the wine. And what the wine will do is it's going to release the oil that's on the kernels toasting, and it's going to cook down and make it a little bit creamy. I don't know if we can show you already. Just by doing that, it's already made it like milky looking,
Yep.
a little bit creamier.
You can totally tell.
So at that point, I'm going to add saffron. Saffron right here is one of the most expensive spices in the world. It's the centerpiece of the flowers. We're going to add that in. It's kind of an oily. So I always try to add it when I add the oil. You can see that the rice is already starting to turn yellow. If you don't have saffron, that's okay. You don't need to put it. You can put a little turmeric at the end if you have to, if you want the color. And at that point, we're going to add some chicken broth. And everything, by the way, is from Mariano's. This is just a chicken, organic chicken broth. And I add the liquid as I go. Stirring when I'm going as well. A lot of times when you make rice, it's always a perfect time to call somebody because you have about 20 minutes, 17 minutes from start to finish to cook the rice.
You have to stir it the entire time because or is that a myth?
You know, you want to keep stirring it. The more you stir it, the creamier it'll be.
Okay.
Is there any questions so far? Can we get questions or not yet?
Anybody out there have a question?
If the way I do it, if no questions, you can't eat it.
Tony, I have another. I feel like I have all the questions. I mean, everyone thinks risotto. Like when you say risotto, oh, I'm going to cook a risotto. It just sounds very intimidating. Can you give us any tips to kind of like get over? I mean, Billy, my husband's going to try to make this tonight. So do you have any tips for people who have never made it before?
It's super easy. What I like to do, and I'm sure every chef does it it's called mise en place. Get all your ingredients together right next to you. So you don't have to go run around. So everything's in front of you. It's called, you put everything in little jars or containers. They don't have to be like glass jars. Just put it all in one area so you don't have to go back and forth to the fridge, back and forth to the sink or getting plates. Have everything ready. And that's the easiest part. That's what makes cooking so easy. You're set up ahead of time.
Be prepared.
Yeah. Like anything in life.
Now we have a lot of questions, which is awesome. So,
right,
do you add
every time you have to ask a question, you have to drink.
Oh.
Try the J. Every time there's a question, we have a sip of the J Vineyards Pinot Noir.
Okay. That sounds
I got
like
a couple
fun.
questions then.
Are you guys okay with that?
Sound, yes. Okay, so I'll make sure there are a lot of questions then. No, I'm kidding. But
Yeah.
should the broth be warm? And do you add it all at once or a little?
Warm. No, I add the water as I need it. And
Okay.
some people like it to do it hot. I'm just doing it room temperature because I had the broth out earlier. I don't think it really matters. I mean, if you do hot liquid, it's going to cook faster, but it's about stirring it. The more you stir it. I wouldn't put it ice cold, though, that's for sure. But the more you stir it, the creamier it'll be. And by the way, you never put cream in risotto.
Okay.
That's what I was always told, yep.
And then what kind of white wine would you recommend to add into when you deglaze the pan?
A dry white wine, and if you don't have white wine, you can deglaze it with the chicken broth. That's okay.
Okay.
The wine will get a little bit of acid, a little bit of fruit from the grapes. One time, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
When I like to make the risotto for arancini, I like to overcook it just a little bit because then you chill it. When you're forming the balls, if the rice is al dente, it'll be a little bit harder to form the balls, the croquettes. So, right.
William Stark, thank you so much for the nice comment. You're invited every time. Thanks for the nice comment. He says, we're doing great, Tony. El Cozen has, if I'm saying it right, has a question, but the question is about keeping everything inside, which I think you're going to get to in a little bit. And Rosie would like to know, what is your heat level now? Is it on simmer?
Anytime I'm cooking anything on fire, I like to have it hot. Okay. So, you know what, we moved into this house about, 2 years ago. This is not my ideal stove, but it does have one burner that's it's called power boil. I don't know. It says it on there, and it's extra hot. Because in restaurant kitchens, we have a lot of fire. We have a lot of heat, about 45,000 BTUs per head, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but we like to cook it hot because people don't want to wait for their food, and we're used to cooking it hot. If you cook this at a slower level, it'll take a longer time, and you have a better chance to actually overcook it.
All right, we got that. And then, of course, you could substitute vegetable stock if you're a vegetarian. It doesn't need to be chicken.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You know, and
then TJ has a great question. I'll just let TJ ask it himself.
I didn't realize my mic was still on. Yeah, risotto always to me seems like almost like eggs, where it's like very easy to make, but it's very easy to mess up. Are there any specific pitfalls or anything that people what are the most common mistakes people are making when they're making risotto?
Good point. And I think I pointed out in the beginning, a wooden spoon and a thick, high-sided pot are your goals in stirring it. If you're going to make risotto, you need at least 15 to 17 minutes of 100% attention to the rice. You know, I'm not sweating. I'm not working really hard making risotto. I'm just turning this, talking to you, and drinking, because we had 5 questions, so I need 5 more drinks to thank you guys. I mean, why not? We don't really have to work tomorrow, do we? Or later. I've been so excited. We were supposed to do this class in the beginning of March. I think it was March 20th at Mariana on Halstead in Greektown. It got canceled, obviously. So I was so bummed out because I was so excited to do this. I love doing demos for them. And I know Todd Stein does and Bill Kim. We love doing these things. It's so much fun. And then when Amanda and Michael Marks said, let's do this online, I was like, hell yeah, why not? Let's do it. We have to mention him too. Is he on?
Yes, our president of our division, Michael Marks, is on watching, and he is a huge fan of your restaurants. He loves going there. We all think, we love everything at the restaurant. So he's
just so everybody knows, Michael is the man he's the president of the Marianos. The day the restaurant closed, he texted me and said, what can we do for you? What can we do for your industry? Who does that? I mean, that right there that's the big heart. As my kids, I like to go like this. My heart for you guys. You guys need to put a heart in your logo because it's true. All right, so I'm going to show you something here. I don't know if we can kind of see this. So kind of a heavy pan because it's so thick. See the creaminess of the risotto already? It's hard to see because this is like 100 pounds, this pan. We're almost there. The more you stir it, the creamier it gets because there's a starch release called amylopectin. And when the starch is released, it's obviously it makes it creamier. And I'm adding the stock as I go. Every time I add something, add salt.
Organic one, Tony?
What was the question?
Which stock are you using? Is that the Simple Truth organic one?
That's the Simple Truth organic, only from Mariano's, Kroger's. It's a great stock. I use this a lot at home because.
That's the one that I also
I use this a lot because it's so easy. It's great flavor. I wish I could show you this. Here's a little trick. When you do the rice, the more you do it, the creamier it gets. It sticks together. You guys see that?
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
It gets even higher when you do the cheese. We can get it even higher.
I think a few people, Tony, are cooking along, which is awesome with you.
There you go. Make sure you taste it as you go. The best chefs season and taste as you go. Which reminds me, I need to taste it. That's the thing. You can always add more salt and more pepper, but you can't take it away. Anytime I use
Tony, how do you
pepper,
know when
I like
it's
to use
done?
a pepper mill and do it as I need it. And that will probably be the last time I add the broth. Yes?
I was going to ask, how do you know when it's done? Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you know when it's done?
There's a couple of indications, and it's really hard for me to show you, but there's a bubbling point on top of the rice. It almost looks like a volcano bubbling up. It's called, I think, stucotto or something in Sicilian, stucotto, when it comes up and bubbles. And the rice is at the bottom. The starch is so thick, it looks like a volcano about to erupt. That's one point. And then you taste it, so there's a little bit of bite. We're going to cook this a little bit more because when I put it, I'm going to put it on a tray and let it chill out. I want to be able to form it into the balls, which that would be our next step. As soon as this cooks down, we'll finish it with butter and Parmesan cheese, and I'll show you that, and then we'll go ahead and form the arancini.
Tony, someone would like to know, they missed the part about the saffron. So does that get added? When does that get added in?
You add that in the beginning because it's an oil-based thing, so you want to add that somewhere around after you're toasting it, somewhere around those lines.
Okay, do you add it to the
people are
broth
texting
or
me
just
for questions too.
They are.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
With
Can you guys hear
the
me?
saffron
You're
get
breaking
added to the
up.
broth? I am. I'm
You
sorry.
can make a saffron broth ahead
Maybe
of
I'll let
time
you-
or
I'll
add
let you go
saffron
ahead
to the rice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put some in a glass so you can see the color. You can do two things. You can add it to the broth or you can add it to the rice. Look at the color of that already. And you can smell the saffron. It's got a very unique flavor and a unique smell. And it's amazing. That kind of gives you that nice punch when you're making the risotto. So I'm at the point where I'm about to add some butter and cheese. That's when I'll usually shut off the fire. And I have unsalted butter. I add unsalted butter and Parmesan cheese grated. You guys at Mariano's have great Parmesan cheese, and one way to test it is that if you can take it in your hand and it sticks together like this, after it's grated, you know it's good because you want the cheese to be part of the dish and to get the creaminess. A lot of times Parmesan cheese in the can or whatever has a chemical in it that doesn't allow it to stick together, and you want it to stick together. So you put that in here. I also like to finish it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil for a sweet finish. And stir it up. You can see that?
That's a great trick. That looks great.
Yeah. There's a place in Italy that get it really, really high. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour it onto a pan and let it cool off. I hope you guys can kind of see that. I have it sitting in a pan right here. I'm going to let it cool off so I can make the rice. This is one that's already cool.
Wow.
That's a quick trick. Wow, look at that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and form the balls. What I have is some meat sauce, bolognese sauce. It's important that it's cold. I'm going to put this into a bowl. You can kind of see that. I like to add fresh peas or frozen peas and mozzarella. And this is just fresh mozzarella balls, the little baby ones. And I'll mix that up. That'll be our stuffing for the inside. You guys can kind of see that. And I think they're going to post also a bolognese recipe that I've done with Mariano's before. You see that mixed up? This is going to be a fun part. There's a couple of ways we can do this. You can either, if you have PPE, we all know those words now, PPE, personal protective equipment. We have that. If you don't have that, you can get a bowl of water and dip your hands in the water and get your hands wet to form a ball. So what I do is I took a little chunk of rice. I'm not going to use the PPE. I'm going to save that. Make a little pocket in the ball. Take some of this stuffing right here. I don't know if you can kind of see that nice and close. See that stuffing? I'm going to take more rice and form it around it to make a ball. You have to kind of press it together. You have to press it together. And if your hands are wet, the rice won't stick to you. There you go. You see that right there? I've gone ahead and made some balls ahead of time. Look at that.
So you take rice and then you put the mixture and then you put more rice. You're not like.
That's right.
Okay. Tony, I have another question if you can hear me better now.
I can hear you.
Okay, someone has a question. What can someone use instead of butter and cheese to make it, that's not dairy, to make it creamy like that? Is there a substitute?
You just need to stir it a little bit. I think, I don't know, the butter will not make it as creamy. I mean, it will make it creamy, but maybe just a little bit more olive oil. And then just stir, stir, stir. That's, I think, an important part, to stir it. And then it'll sit. Once the rice sits, it'll become almost like similar to Play-Doh, where you can form it into your own balls. What I'm going to do now, luckily, one thing that I found out is everybody's having sales, so I was able to buy a deep fryer last week, and I talked to Amanda earlier about this. I bought a deep fryer online for like half the cost, because my kids and I, my wife, we wanted donuts, so we made fresh donuts last week. And I'm like, oh, I can use two things. I could use a deep fryer to fry the arancini, and I'll also eat donuts for the rest of my life now at home. So that's what we're doing. We're making a lot of things at home during this time. What I'm going to do is, for the next step, I have flour, some eggs that are just whipped together. It's like an egg wash. I just take the eggs and put a little bit of water and whip them up. I added salt in both of those guys, and then some breadcrumbs. See that? And this is called the three-step breading process. I'm going to take the arancini, drop it into the flour, a few at a time. Shake up the flour, and you want to coat the flour. Basically, what this is doing, it's going to seal in all the nice flavors and the rice and the cheese and the mozzarella into that. And I'm going to put it into the eggs. When I'm doing this, if I'm doing chicken or any other vegetable or what have you, I always use one hand for the wet product and one hand for the dry product. So this hand I'm going to use for the wet product. So in other words, you're going to have like really big, like it's going to stick to your fingers and be real chunky.
That's the best tip ever. I never do that. That's like amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the, breading process, and then moving it around a lot. A lot of times I'll take the breading, and there you go. It's actually a fun part. One of my first jobs when I was 15, I worked in a banquet hall, and I had to bread mozzarella sticks till like my hands were done, tired. And I learned that over time. In other words, my hands were like the size of like King Kong. See that guy right there?
That's amazing.
And then you can reform them too. If they get out of shape, you can reform them. So at that point, I'm going to take this and drop it in a fryer. If you don't have a fryer, another good way to do this is you can bake them in an oven with a little bit of olive oil in a pan. I think you can air fry them. I've never air fried them, but I think you can air fry them. Or you can put like a cast iron pan or a thick pan on the stove and fry them in oil like you did like old school before, like in a lodge pan or a creuset, and fry them in the pan there. So here, I'm gonna just drop these in the oil. The oil is at 350 degrees. I'll cook this for a few minutes. I have some more. Any questions so far?
Can you suggest an egg replacement? We've tried full fat coconut milk in the past, but it has a sweetness that sometimes doesn't go well.
Oh, for egg replacement.
What about that? Isn't there something called Just Egg? Let me look it up really quick.
Never used it. Maybe cornstarch and water. I know, I think it's Bill Kim and Todd Steinon. Maybe they know.
Todd Stein's
I saw Bill
on.
Kim earlier and Todd. Todd, maybe, do you have any suggestions on that? These are other chefs, guys, who don't, who are
Let's
big,
unmute Bill
well-known chefs in
and
our city.
Todd.
Do they have any answers?
Hey, Tony, maybe,
Yeah.
Hi, Chef
Maybe-
Bill.
Hi, Bill Kim.
How are ya?
Yeah, Bill Kim.
good. I mean, cornstarch is a good, good substitute. You know, it's sticky, it's starchy. Also, tapioca starch is another that
Tapioca
you can
starch.
buy at Mariano's. I've seen it there, and rice flour also.
Rice flour, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a mayo? You can do it in mayo. I always use.
There's a product
I've
we
never
sell called
experimented
Just
with that.
Egg that's plant-based, but I haven't tried it. But it's Just Egg made from plants, 100% plant-based. But I've seen it at our
Will that work?
stores.
I mean, like Bill said, the tapioca would be good.
If you
So I'm
want,
just doing some more. By the way, all my neighbors, I think they're watching. We're gonna come over. I have so much rice I'm gonna start giving out some arancini down to my neighbors at 6 to 10 feet away, of course.
You have been making rice for days, which is funny.
Well, I was lucky enough to have most of the ingredients. I also stopped at the restaurant for a little while. Oh, by the way, we're cooking the rice balls in the oil in a fryer for at least 2 minutes. What you want to do is brown them, and then brown them on all sides. And if you do it too high, like 375 degrees or something like that, it'll be cold in the center.
Tony, what kind of oil are you using?
I only use in the fryer I have a vegetable oil,
Yeah.
but when I cook, I
Okay.
only use 100% olive oil. It's just,
And if you bake,
I don't know
bake
why.
them, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry?
If you bake them, what temperature would you cook? Would you bake them on, and for how long?
I would probably drizzle with oil in a higher oven because you want them crispy. So if just like any kind of item, you want them crispy. There's not a lot of oil in the product, so give it a drizzle, 450 degrees, and then turn it down. Because you want the center too, like the cheese to ooze out. Another tip when you're making it, I know paper towels are really tough right now. I had some seafood towels from the restaurant. You want to put that on a pan or a plate, and when we take that out, we're going to put it on the pan to absorb some of the oil. You could also use a towel that you're not really, like a kitchen towel that you don't care that it has oil stains on it. So these guys are going in here. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more in there as well. Why not, right? Does anybody have to work tomorrow? You guys are lucky. You guys are so quiet, I can't hear you.
Well, there's more questions here. Tony, what kind of breadcrumbs do you recommend?
Unseasoned breadcrumbs, and I always, so like when I bread something, I like to add the salt in the eggs or the breadcrumbs. If I season the product, I had it like, say if I'm doing a meat and I season the meat and then I put in the flour, the eggs, and the breadcrumbs, usually comes off because the salt extracts the steam, or extracts the liquid, and the steam will come out and separate the breading from the product. Like somebody asked me earlier about panko breadcrumbs. You can use those too, but they're kind of big. Just take them in your hands and rub them together because you kind of want a finer coating. But you know, in Sicily they don't have panko breadcrumbs. That's a Japanese thing. But it's up to you. Like if you're the chef at home, you can substitute whatever you want. This is a key essential tool in the kitchen. It's a little basket that we take out for pasta or dumplings. I use it in the fryer. Look at this. One thing too is after you take it out, when it's still warm, put a little sea salt on top of it. You can see the nice color of those guys right here. I put a little sea salt on top when it's still warm because it'll help season it as well. And you don't want to eat it right away because you'll burn your mouth. I'm just gonna go ahead and fry some more. Any other questions while we're still going?
Can you use gluten-free flour instead of regular flour?
I would say yes. I've never used it, but I would say definitely.
Okay.
We haven't had a drink before. Let's toast.
Oh
Let's toast to all you guys helping out and toast to Mariano's.
Cheers.
Normally I don't drink, but today is a special day. Why not?
Today is a special day. And what's so disappointing is that those rice balls, the arancini, look so beautiful, and we can't have them.
I live in Park Ridge. Send us a message. Come by. I'm going to finish making all the rest of these when we're done. I'll probably have another 30 or 40. I'm going to pass them out to my neighbors, my friends. And of course, my daughter, the older one, she loves them. The younger one, she's never had it. She doesn't like the textured fried food, but the 6-year-old Violet, she really enjoys it. She has it. If we go to a restaurant and they have them, Dad, I want the arancini. Oh, and by the way, I had a friend from Sicily sent me a message that we spelled it wrong at the end. It had A at the end online.
Okay,
Kind of fun,
all right.
right?
Well, we'll fix that. Yep. I'm sorry about that.
But you know what? My whole life, I thought I spelled them like that as well. So we're on the same page.
Right. We'll
You're
double
right.
check it. What's the difference between arancini and soupli? Am I saying that right?
Yep, arancini.
Or soupli? What's soupli? S-U-P-P-L-I.
It's like a fried dough.
Okay.
That's a Roman fried dough. These are Sicilian. These are Sicilian. I'm going to show you guys one here. Open it up on the plate so you can see. Let me get a plate. I want to show you what it looks like when it comes out. Look at these guys right here. I saw somebody ask online if you can freeze these. Absolutely. You can make these all ahead of time, put them in your refrigerator, and then you can bake them as you need them, or you can freeze them. It's awesome. Yeah, so like we could make these, and I could take them, put them in the refrigerator, get them cold, and then freeze them, and then take them out and defrost them, and bake them in a hot oven, 350 degrees for about 10 minutes till they're warm, 10, 15 minutes after you defrost them, and they'll be just as good. Out of any fried food, you do that. Usually I make chicken fingers for my kids, and so I'll make a big batch, and I'll do the same thing, and I'll freeze them, put them in a Ziploc bag, freezer bag, take them out as I need them, or my wife needs them, and pop them in. They're great.
Oh my God, this is a really interesting question. Can all of the ingredients be layered in a pan and baked as a casserole? Tony?
Why not? You're the chef at home. Do it. Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
Cool.
I think that's a great question. You know what I would do then? I would put a little tomato sauce on the bottom, a little tomato sauce on top, and then do that. Can I show them a finished product yet?
Yes, please.
You know, I have some leftover bolognese sauce. I'm gonna put some bolognese on a pan. It's hard to show you. You see that? Normally I would serve this with marinara sauce. This would be a great appetizer, a start to a day. Put a little Parmesan on top of that. I don't know if you can kind of see that guy. If you were at my house or somebody else's house and you made these and put this part of a dish as a first course, I think that'd be a great start to a day. Or you could have 3, wow, voila, look, it's right there. 3 ready to go as an entree.
Looks great.
Looks amazing.
And this is the great pairing, the J Vineyards Pinot Noir from California, right?
Yep.
You guys have been a great audience. I'm a little early, maybe I talked too much. Somebody's asking for my address. I'm at the Mariano's in Park Ridge on Cumberland Avenue. Is there any questions out there? Because I know we have some.
I think we're catching up. Everyone misses and loves you. Everyone
And I
loves
miss everybody. You have no idea.
The what?
You have no idea how much I miss everybody. Oh.
We all do. We can't wait. I want my favorite pasta and branzino and pizza and like all the great stuff. We can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later, everybody stay safe. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
You know, I have to tell you one thing. On the 16th, we were announced. So the 15th, a bunch of chefs got together. We met. We knew this was coming. We formed this coalition, which you guys have been gracious enough to help us with by donating to all the chefs. And then on the 16th, they closed us. On the 17th, I figured it's going to be, well, I had my daughter shave my head completely down. So now, I shaved yesterday just to have this class. Otherwise, I had a goatee. I was changing it up. Why not? Who cares, right? We're at the point where it doesn't matter. As long as we're all together and we're safe. Every day we're hearing about this nasty virus out there. And all we can do is stay home, eat a lot, order some food, make a lot of bread. I'm making bread, make donuts, and spend a lot of family time together. And of course, drink wine.
Of course.
Yes.
Right?
Tony, tell us more about the GoFundMe for your restaurant staff too that you've set up.
So,
we're going to send the link, Sarah.
Yeah, we have
the link in the.
Yeah, we have a GoFundMe. It's under Piccolo Sonio, if you like Piccolo Sonio restaurants. And I think every restaurant, go to your favorite restaurant, go search for them on GoFundMe because they have a page. The money doesn't go to us. It goes to all of our hourly employees, all the ones that are working. They're clearing tables, and they're the forgotten few. They're the ones that are making the world change. You know, we're one of the largest industries. So I think we're a $200 billion industry in the United States, and they're not really looking after us. So thankful you guys have big hearts. All of our customers and our friends are taking care of these guys. You know, I'm in touch with them all the time, and I'm sure Chef Todd is, and Chef Bill, and all the other chefs in the city, the great chefs. You know, we feel that we're carrying the burden on our backs, not only for them, but for our families. And you guys have helped release that burden because it's not anybody's fault this has happened, but you guys are helping save these people's lives. And Mariano's is a big part of that, and we want to thank you.
We appreciate
and, Bill
you.
Kim, you're the man.
Is really asking about it. Carol Lamarca is on, and she's asking about the link. And yes, we will send it, Carol. Wait, there's a Bridget wants us to ask you why you haven't named the arancini amaze balls from his sister-in-law's coworker.
What was it? Wait, she wants to know what.
Please ask him why they haven't named them amazeballs from his sister-in-law's coworker. Bridget must work with your sister.
Okay, must work.
Maybe?
Yeah, with that. Okay, so we can call them right now amazeballs from now on.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And thank you
So
to you and Tara for doing all the hard work putting this together. And TJ, I know, and your husband's in the background.
yes, he's here. He's gonna make the risotto. Hopefully, we're gonna make this right after we're done. Stay tuned.
Awesome, good. You know, and yeah, good. And all my guys on my street, give me 10 minutes, and I'm gonna make a rest and make some to-go packages for you guys. And thank you all for really looking out for us during this time. My heart's out to you guys, and I will make it up to you when you come into the restaurant. And I know Todd will take care of you at Fermentos and his restaurants, and Bill with his restaurants, Crate and Barrel, and all the rest of the chefs in the city. We're one. We're all united. We're all on the same team. You know, it's the same with your hairdressers and the guys that polish your shoes or fill up your gas. We're all in this together.
We are all in this together. So we're all gonna stay safe, shelter in place. We're very thankful, Tony, for you and your time and your family's time and sharing your home with us tonight. We have a great lineup the rest of the week. If you'd like to join us tomorrow, we have Belinda Chang, who is an awesome, fun wine expert. She's awesome. And she's actually, tomorrow night, we're having a fried chicken and sparkling wine party. And Brian Jupiter is going to teach us how to make fried chicken also. So we're going to have a really fun night tomorrow night.
Awesome.
And
Love
third,
that guy. He's the
a
best.
mixologist from Monkey Shoulder, who's going to teach us how to make cocktails. So yeah, we have a full week. We have live music on Friday nights. We have kids concerts on Saturday that Tony's family loves to attend. So we have a full lineup and more coming next week. So we hope to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bravo.
Thank you.
Love you all. Thanks for joining us.
I don't like to say goodbye to everybody, but we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for all the nice comments. Tony, thank you so much. Thanks to
Thank
you.
you. Ciao. Bye-bye.